Hello Factorio people, welcome back to the broadcast from Space Age. Hope you're all doing alright. I have new headphones. Do not adjust your settings. I probably need to adjust my settings, I'm still working on it, but I got new headphones, which is very nice. They're wireless. Last time we went to Aquilo. Today we're going to finish up on Aquilo and then do some other stuff that we need to do. Getting the megabase ready. Hopefully. If you want to do the old like, comment, subscribe for me, that would be great. And we'll jump straight into it, shall we? This was our Aquilo base. It's quite hard to get Aquilo very large before you've researched things like fusion power and stuff. So we're not too concerned. We're just getting a nice decent number of science in is the plan. And then we'll just use that science to research the goodies, and then we'll mostly be done, right? The only thing other than that would be Prometheum science and then research productivity, which is very important, of course. But we will then mostly be done. We will have everything we need to build big and good. So we were just about thinking to get cryogenic science pack sorted out with fluoroketone and stuff. We need to bring in the fluoroketone, which we have. There we go. And we just need a bit of lithium from up here, but then other than that we are good to go. We just need to plug it all in. We're missing some speed modules. The shuttle is on its way back with all the goodies. So let's get this set up, talk about cryogenic science. Okay, it's all automated. It should all be automated. Let's just pick up the last few of these speed modules so that we can get a nice running total here. 124 a minute, that's not very much, of course. I'm going to directly insert them into the rocket just for now, because we don't need to bring anything else back from Aquilo. We'll come back to Aquilo to redesign the whole thing once we get fusion power and stuff like that unlocked, and then we can, you know, because we're beholden to the amount of power that we can get down with heating towers and rocket fuel at the moment. So we're going to do it like this. Okay, alright. So this needs some cold fluoroketone and you get some hot fluoroketone back, so you need to make sure that you've got a system in place so the whole system doesn't get stalled, get blocked. So this only cools down extra fluoroketone when the tank is empty, and as we said last time, you don't actually need this pump. You can just hook the assembly machine up to the tank instead and have the assembly machine not work when there's more than 1,000. We'll do it like that instead. That takes the need for pumps away, which is very handy. And this will make some science. Yeah, direct insertion into the rocket. Bots on Aquilo are rubbish, right? We all know, everyone knows this. This is already draining the power, as you can see, but we'll cross that bridge in a minute. Bots on Aquilo are not very good. I did do an extra couple of levels of worker robot speed, so we're up to worker robot speed 12. That does just about get them enough to come from to get to the cargo landing pad to drop off the holmium and then back to the roboport. But even before that, they were going from here and then they were stopping, like they were just about getting to here and then having to turn around and charge and then drop the holmium off. So we want to try and avoid robots as much as we can on Aquilo, so we're going to do direct insertion into the rocket, which is something we learned from the last series and something we're trying to implement generally, which is why we've got things like that on. You know, we're not using logistics bots to put science packs into the rocket silo because it slows things down. feels like it slows things down anyway. We can let the cold fluoroketone run for as long as we want. Can't imagine there's ever a problem with this. Nothing outputs cold. So as long as there's room for the hot to go back in. No, we should limit this though, shouldn't we? Because then the hot will just... If the cold can't ever output... Yeah, we should limit both, really. We should be safe and limit both. So this one is under, let's say 5,000. Under. I know which way around these go. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm a pro. I know which way around the little crocodile heads go. Okay? Everybody knows that it's easy to remember. Alright, let's get some more power in, and then if we get more power in, then we may as well slap a few more of these in, right? Maybe 124 is not quite as good as we'd like it to be. This should be okay. We don't need to add more heating towers. We were already over egging the heating towers, right? One heating tower can actually do 4 heat exchangers. So with these 10 heating towers, we can support a lot more than this, but seeing as we don't need more power than this, I thought I would just leave it. I could move the cargo landing pad somewhere else and extend this across westwards. But it is not necessary, and we're not going to be back here until we come back for fusion power, so it's fine. We are short on lithium, so we are just waiting on the Aquilo shuttle to do its run. We need to do something with the interrupts, right? My problem with the interrupt system is that you can't. I thought it would it would just be checking, and as soon as it runs out of holmium, if you said, "Oh, I'll add an interrupt for something," like rocket parts is a good example. Which ship has the rocket parts one on? The Gleba one. This doesn't always check. If any of these are less than 100, but only at the point that it's deciding the next place for it to go. It would be really nice if it was just sort of hovering around Malvis or hovering around Gleba, and then at any point, not necessarily so much this interrupt, but this one, right? This one I feel is quite important. To have an interrupt for, you're hovering around Aquilo, you run out of holmium. This deadlocks the system, because this will never leave Aquilo. If you say you want, 5,000 cryogenic science packs, but you run out of Aquilo during that, you run out of them during your hovering around Aquilo, the whole system is deadlocked. You'll never get those science packs, so you'll never change stations, so the interrupt will never trigger. Now, yeah, obviously you can get around that by doing, you can say however much you want to wait for, 4,000, let's say. But you would have to then remove this one, and then add another wait condition that was, or 5 seconds of inactivity. Or just 5 seconds of inactivity is what you would have to do, in fact. Go to Aquilo, 5 seconds of inactivity, so that then every 5 seconds it would check your interrupts, and then your interrupts would be cryoscience delivery. And then that interrupt condition is cryogenic science more than 4,000, add interrupt station now vis, add wait condition, item count, cryogenic science 0. And then another one that was holmium pickup, add interrupt condition, item count, I can't press Q from here. Holmium 0. Interrupt station, Fulgora, item count, Holmium. No, not that one. Item requests, Holmium request satisfied. There we go. So that would work. That would definitely work. And that's probably the best way to do it. In fact, because then you're just you're either going to Aquilo, you're waiting for the science. If you can't get the science because you've got no holmium, but then that confuses things here, right? Then that confuses, like, yeah, you request 5,000. I've put 5,000 here, not 4,000. I suppose then in here you would do, instead of, yeah, you wouldn't do this one, you would do this item, which are not requested, cannot be set. Oh, that's now these, that's why. Don't do that, don't do that. Conditions. Request satisfied. There we go, that's what you would do. You would do it like that. I guess you would make this all request satisfied as well, so that you are also then picking up the... because you want superconductors and refined concrete in the Aquilo shuttles so that you can make cryogenics plants here, because these need superconductors and refined concrete from another planet. So yeah, you would do it like that. There we go. I just solved it. There we go. Solved it live on camera. I didn't plan to do that. That wasn't my intention, but I was just going to talk about it, and then I rubber ducked myself into the solution. So there we go. I'll have to implement that now in my actual real life save game. That would work. That would work quite well, in fact. Okay. So yes, the science is going back to now Vis now. We were doing legendary quality. I suppose the downside of this is that you can't... ah, no, yeah, you could say to turn around and do this. You can press play on these interrupts in the same way that you can press play on this. Yeah, okay. Someone said in the comments that this is how they do their delivery ship, which I do like as a system, but I also like to have this green bar here, you know, like, so if it's hovering around Gleba and I'm like, is this finished? I could just hover over this all request satisfied green bar as it fills up and it will tell me what's missing. So I kind of like that. I don't think you can do that with the interrupts. I think... because you can't open the interrupt, right? You can't see what's inside the interrupt without doing this. So that just adds an extra click. Boo, boo. All right, so we're gonna do legendary quality, obviously, just making sure that the science packs work. The new lab system is working quite well. And yeah, that's Aquilo. That's Aquilo done and dusted. Once we get the holmium delivery sorted, it's all fine. Okay, so what else do we want to do today? We want to go and sort Gleba out. Gleba is... we've been sat here making overgrowth soil for so long now. And the system is it's fine. It needs just to be solidified. It needs to be bolstered somewhat. We've got all this overgrowth soil. We can do much better than this. Like, this is a mess, right? This is a total mess, this system. Now we've got the overgrowth soil, we can sort that out. So we're going back to Gleba, I'm afraid, folks. We're back to Gleba again, the third time. Cryogenic science. So we ended up at 207 a minute, which is fine. It'll do. We're researching captive biter spawners, and I'm not going to research Foundation, right? My issue with researching Foundation is that it really messes up some of the ways I like to build things. So, for example, if I'm on Fulgora and I want to slap down some more of these, and I do this, the fact that I can't build those ones does not concern me. I don't care. If I shift click that down, it doesn't bother me, right? I'll just remove the ones that are then not covered by a substation. If I research foundation, hello, editor mode. Shift? I'm shift clicking? I'm shift clicking? Does it have to be the top of the list? What am I doing wrong? Is it because time isn't going? I have the prerequisite. What's happening? What? Have I forgotten how to do this? 2 seconds. You have to shift left click this button. I'm sure it didn't used to do that. I'm sure you used to be able to shift left click the icon in the... Anyway, right. Okay, if I then research foundations and make the exact same shift click maneuver here, oh god, it puts bloody foundation ghosts in. So now it just complicates everything. You know? And that's especially egregious when it comes to like working out what is cliffs and what is foundation, in my opinion. So like here, for example, if I didn't have foundation, oh god, if I didn't have foundation here on the cliffs and I press shift to force build, at least I can see which cliffs would need to go, right? If I do have foundation researched, and I have some cliffs in the way, it just gets rid of all of them, and then it's insanely difficult to sort of like pick out the ones that the cliffs were blocking versus the ones that the foundations were blocking, and it just annoys me. So if anyone knows a way around this, please let me know. But I'm going to leave foundation unresearched up until the exact moment that I need to start thinking about foundations. And that will probably just be when on Vulcanus I want to like fill in some of these gaps just to tidy up the grid a little bit. I can't imagine I will use it that much. I don't think I've ever in my entire Factorio career made a single piece of foundation. Anyway, right. So we're off to Gleba, basically. We're off to Gleba. We're in the lunar ship. Let's go. Let's go to Gleba, and we'll get some stuff done. All right, we've cut the seed supply off to the jelly nut, so that we can think about how we're going to do this. Now that we've got overgrowth soil, I'm not too concerned about being like uber efficient when it comes to maximizing the soil use. It's very hard to make a tileable design that doesn't use robots that maximizes the tiles, because you can a green belt will... What is wrong with me? A green belt will expand further than the range of this, but then that precludes you from like using this one now. So I'm not going to worry too much about it now that we've got the overgrowth soil and we can do what we like. I'm going to just build them in a row, and I will just concede that these middle rows will not be used for any growing, and I'll just use this for inputs and outputs. I didn't mean to do exactly that, but whatever. So with the overgrowth soil, the best thing to do is to just put overgrowth soil down in the spaces that you want to be able to build anything. Because the overgrowth soil will go literally anywhere that is not, that is in the purple biome. But you can overuse it by doing it like this. So the best thing to do is to just put it down as a ghost, then go back to the artificial jelly nut soil, and then just shift click over everything that can be replaced with that. So like nothing there can be. This can be. This can be. So this just ensures that you only use the overgrowth soil exactly where it is needed. Because it's obviously a pain in the arse to get, right? Like it's difficult to go to get the biter eggs and make sure that everything is working. And we have a lot, but with the jelly nut, for example, I don't know why. I think I just don't consume as much jelly nut as I do Yamako, so my seeds for the jelly nut are lagging a bit behind, even though there's loads in here. So I should make a lot more. And we're on the clock a little bit here, because as soon as the bioflux runs out, then we need to kickstart the whole system again. So as long as we keep some bioflux in the system, we should be okay to just turn it off and turn it back on again, without having to go and find some more biter eggs, but we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. I know I'm not using all of the space, but I'm using most of the space, right? I just don't want to use robots. And you're gonna see this a lot in my designs going forwards. Robots are very strong, right? And sometimes you just there's no reason to set up an entire belt from the cargo landing pad to the lithium just for the holmium, right? Especially on Aquilo, because I would have to put heat pipes and stuff down. So like this is the best case scenario for it. You just need a vanishingly small amount of holmium, 72 a minute. That's fine. What I don't want to do is I do not want to have, especially because of the way I've done my city blocks. This is why we didn't do logistics bots for this. Why I've put belts down, because either we'd have to cut this bit off from the logistics network and still have loads of robots flying around just within this square, or we just leave it and concede that sometimes a robot is going to fly from here to repair a laser turret, and then this robot is going to get picked to do this job all the way up here. Now you may be saying, well, that just sounds like a flaw of your city block design, and yeah, you would be right. But that's just a constraint. All the eggs are hatching. That's just a constraint I've given myself for this playthrough, is I'm not going to just plop down a whole bunch of robots and get robots to deliver seeds and bring back the fruit and stuff, because it's not very scalable. It's fine in smaller numbers. It's fine if you just want to get jobs done. But you know, we're megabase in this, so when I want my megabase solutions to be belts, I want them to be tileable, and I want them to be scalable. And delivering loads of seeds and 10,000 fruit a minute via logistics robots flying all over the place, it's not it. It's just not it, is it? Let's be honest. Okay. So this is very nice, he said. Modestly. He said very modestly. I really hate how you can't see the existing. It's there. I'm stood on the edge of it. There we go. You know, we just split the seeds back up, we integrate the fruit back down, we overflow seeds go in here, so the seeds just go past every tower. If a tower doesn't need them, then they'll go into storage. This is just a lot tidier, right? This should just be a lot neater, a lot tidier. And even though I'm giving up all of these tiles in the middle, the fact that we've now got the overgrowth soil just means that we can get so much more of this. This is about as far as the purple biome goes. I should probably turn this off, that would be very helpful. But then this is all purple biome. I'm pretty sure I could just put as much overgrowth soil down here as I would need. Yeah, like look at this. The fact that I got this 3x3 here was enough for me to just leave it like this, but in the future, obviously, we will definitely want to come down to this space. We can make a massive farm here. And the same with this one. This is all yellow biome, like up until here. So this one is still pretty good. It's just unfortunate that this one was a little bit weak. Like we'll get some more on the left-hand side, but not loads more. And then on the right hand side it turns into the water. So yeah, and then we'll just expand the city blocks. This is going to make so much spores. We'll expand the city blocks out. We've got the tileable wall design here with the Tesla turrets. So yeah, let's get to work. I've done the same with the Yamako. I need to put the circuit condition back in so they're not just working relentlessly, even though I kind of think maybe working relentlessly is fine, right? These have such a high spoil time. Well, not such a high spoil time, but you know, an hour is pretty good. An hour is pretty good. It might be better that it might just be worth not worrying about all of the fruit on the belt and maybe more worrying about the output. Might be worth just limiting the output to when it's needed, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Gleba's fine. Yeah. Defenses, they come for the source of the spores, right? So providing these spores don't go all the way down here and find a nest, pentapods won't like walk from all the way down here across my base, right? All I should be worried about is the spores from this side, because then they will come to the source of the spores. I know I should have opened my telestration. Don't tell me that. So the same with this, right? The spores are going to go out predominantly this way. This is a massive lake. This is all clear. So if the spores ever get down here, then yeah, I might have to build a wall across here, but we'll leave it for now. It's fine. So we're back. Everything's back. It's fine. Should be a lot more production in theory. Should be a lot more than it was. Oh, the Yamako's not quite there yet. The jelly nut. It's hard to say, because we've not actually upscaled... Oh, we've only put 3 of these in. We've not upscaled any of the actual production, because what we've built here is still potentially 1,200 a minute. So it's more about just future-proofing it. So when I do want to come and scale this up, because we're aiming for 1,000 science per minute on most things at the moment, and that should be enough to just sort of research a lot of mining productivity and things like that, just to sort of give us a good starting system for when we eventually start building like 10,000 science per minute sections. Yikes. Okay. So now we should redesign this, because this is god-awful. No logistics bots, please. What? Green? The only reason I use green chests is it's kind of like a purple chest that you can get to ignore certain items. So a purple chest will just completely remove it from the system. A green chest will not remove things from the system, but if you put a logistics group here and then say trash unrequested, so this will just ignore agricultural science but remove the spoilage from the system, or anything else that makes its way in there. Alright, so let's redesign this fiasco. Four rocket silos, Jeremy. 4, you're insane. The agricultural science comes in. And spoilage comes in as well, but whatever. Goes into a chest. That loads it into a rocket. Takes the spoilage out. Any spoilage? Yeah, these definitely need to be filter just agricultural science, don't they? That would make a lot more sense. Just let the spoilage go this way into this heating tower. Don't get these to do unnecessary work. What I'd also like to do is put some slow inserters down, some extremely slow inserters down. So normal inserters, override stack size 1 and do spoiled priority first. So this will then take out the single most spoiled science pack in the system as it stands, and then just wait for them to spoil. So this will, on average, increase the freshness of the science pack. So if there's not new science coming, loud. If there's not new science coming into the system, then it won't do anything. But as soon as fresh science makes its way in, when 6,000 is what I've said, when there's less than 6,000, and obviously these are steel chests, so I've had to hook these up. Here comes some now. As soon as fresh science makes its way into the system, the low spoilage one will then be, this stack will then be topped up with agricultural science with a higher number. So if we look at this remaining time, 31 minutes 25, you can see there's 10 seconds, a bit more, you know, like it's something, right? It's something, because we're adding fresh science to that stack. It aggregates the average time of what is spoiled, so it will just then so we'll do that for all 4 of those. And yeah, there we go. That's just Gleba sort of tidied up a little bit, made a little bit better. The other thing I've done is there's way too much spoilage in the system. So these request the spoilage, which we need for the carbon into carbon fiber process. But then if there is more than X amount of spoilage in the system, just get rid of the excess. So this is the only place we currently need the spoilage. Oh, except for obviously the overgrowth soil process, but that's why we've set this to 20,000, because that should be more than enough. There was like 100,000 spoilage in the system a moment ago before I set this up. Spoilage never shows up on production, because I guess you don't ever really make it, do you? It just sort of arrives. So yeah, we had loads of spoilage in the system. I've burnt 404,000 spoilage in the last hour. Eventually these logistics robots will... It's this stupid thing here that I did. It's fine. It's fine, probably. We'll see. I know I just had a massive rant about how I didn't want to use logistics bots for too many things, but this should level out, right? Like once this chest becomes empty and all of the jelly nut is flowing through, this should not spoil as frequently as it was before. And we're also using a lot more power as well now, so these heating towers should be doing a lot more work, and rocket fuel should actually, yeah, like this one's not, but because these just take the rocket fuel out regardless. I've not like said, oh, only when this is below a certain temperature, which is what we've done on Aquilo for a lot of these things. Should I be worried about... Oh yes, I should talk about this. I added an extra... Yes, the ammonia. If the ammonia gets full, then you stop making ice, which is obviously a complete disaster. And the best use for ammonia is the rocket fuel. So these original circuit conditions for only spend rocket fuel when these are cold enough to warrant it was not 100% foolproof, because these might be warm, but I need to cycle some rocket fuel. So now there's a circuit condition here that reads... This is quite clever, if I do say so myself. There's 10 heating towers here, right? So I've hooked them all up to one circuit network condition to read the temperature. So then the T's are all being added together here at the end, and then I'm dividing it by 10 to give it an average temperature. So the temperature of all 10 heating towers is 9,980 degrees, is the sum of those 10 heating towers. So then that just means the average temperature is 998 degrees. So if the average temperature is below 650, or there's more than 90,000 ammonia in the system, then we can and should be burning rocket fuel. So that ensures that this system never gets stuck. If we need the ice, we'll always have ice. If we need the ammonia, then these will be running anyway, and the excess ice is getting recycled off. Should I be quality upcycling this? Maybe. It's a lot of ice. But equally, it's not hard to get ice. So this is working well. Asteroid productivity. We're just kind of waiting for this whole system to stabilize, because we did a lot of testing and turning it off and on again. The science packs that we were sending to Navis were not especially fresh. But once we make our way through this, and you know, this 6,000 number, once it's 6,000 like fresh science basically, because these have been sat in here for half an hour just waiting for everything to do its thing. But this Gleba shuttle has been going backwards and forwards quite quickly these days. You can see it's not really... These really should be bulk inserters, shouldn't they? Stack inserters, sorry. They really should be stack inserters. Okay, cool. Alright, we're almost done here. The only thing we have to do now is I tried to fix Fulgora remotely. This scrap thing ran out, so I tried to fix it remotely with what I had on me, and obviously I've completely knackered it because I used a green... I thought I was being clever with, oh, I can turn a green chest into a purple chest by just saying trash unrequested and have no requests. That turns it into a purple chest. Completely forgetting that it was going to have to try and put it somewhere. And it eventually broke and stalled when it had nowhere else to put the scrap. So we do have to go to Fulgora and sort this out. Another extremely large issue is that we were kind of relying on this modest scrap patch to do everything on this island, and it is basically running out. 139,000. This was like 1 million or something, and we used mining drills and got 230% mining productivity. It's still not going to last forever. Of course it won't. So this is definitely the next big thing on the to-do list. Is we need to megabase. We need to XL Fulgora, which we always did need to do. To be fair, we just XL'd Gleba. Obviously, this is not true XL, right? This is just proof of concept for a much bigger version of this. These seeds aren't going into the bloody idiot man. Yeah, so that's definitely next on the list. Alright, we're here in Fulgora. We need to fix this absolute mess that's happened over here. Stop using logistics bots for this. Scrap has somehow made its way into here. So these recyclers aren't doing anything. It's a mess. We need to fix it. Shouldn't be a big job, really, to be fair. Alright, that looks better, doesn't it? Actual miners and belts. And I have good news! We have 2 legendary quality Mark II modules. So these have a quality of +5 by themselves. So these are already twice as good as quality module Mark 3s. They're in fact better than even epic quality module Mark 3s. Without any of the hassle of needing to put in superconductors into the system somewhere. So that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. So the only thing that we can do now to get even more quality than this is get legendary quality module Mark 3s. Which is why I started with this in the first place. It's why I wasn't worried about getting superconductors into this system. Because legendary quality Mark 2s are pretty good. Even epic quality Mark 2s are not that good. They're just the equivalent of rare Mark 3s. But if we leave this running for long enough, you know, we'll get more than 2 eventually. We've only had an hour or so of having legendary quality unlocked, so we'll just leave this ticking over. And even just like 10, 20 of these will be enough to kickstart a decent quality module process. If we can use these in the superconductor system, you know, then we can just get epic quality module, get all this supply of quality module 2s, some epic superconductors, some epic advanced circuits and processing units from this whole upcycling system anyway, and from what's happening on Nowvis, and we should be good enough to start something. Oh no, I left 2,600 scrap on the table. Oh well. So I'm back on Nowvis, just making sure everything's ticking over nicely, and it is. We haven't had another artillery range upgrade since. Like, these biters are living right on the precipice here, they have no idea. And yeah, Gleba is working well. I didn't actually put the lights in. That lights thing was just for show. I should definitely put those in. That looked very cool. So yeah, this is. I experimented with also taking the most spoiled science pack out of the rocket, but I'm not sure that was really doing much, because this one is set to put the freshest one in anyway. So then putting a bulk of the freshest ones in, and then just taking the least fresh one out, it wasn't doing much. This wasn't doing as much as I would have hoped. It was just wasting a lot of agricultural science packs for no reason. It's much more important to take the most spoiled one out of the buffer. Once it's in the rocket, then fine, whatever. If it spoils in the rocket, then we'll take it out. If it spoils in the rocket, something's gone really, really wrong. Or we're just not researching anything that needs Gleban science. How's the spore cloud looking from this? Yeah, like, much worse. This is the concern. Actually, this isn't a concern. They'll just come and they'll walk into this. Cool. All right, that was a lot of good. That was a lot of good work. I'm happy with that. How's this going? It's fine. I think I've got some. I ran out of power on Nowvis. I'm right. Yeah, like I'm running out of power here. If you can believe it. I've put in too many modules too quickly, and sometimes I'm running out of power. The nuclear power plants are just not enough. We're running out of steam, and then the accumulators run dry, and then we just don't. Is it going to happen now? It seems to be like, because obviously this uses a lot of power. Whoa, green. This uses a lot of power because of all of the. Oh no, not that one. With lots of beacons, yeah, this uses a lot of power. This uses a lot of power. As soon as you start adding beacons and modules, then your power supply goes through the freaking roof. Don't care about the consumption of accumulators, do I? Yeah, EM plants, basically. So put that on the list of things to fix. And by fix, I just mean add a few more nuclear power plants. How many do we have? 3? 4? 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can add more easily. Very, very easily. Stick it on the later base. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please let me know with a like or a comment. And if you want to see more Factorio, oh, I almost said Ricci Mahjong. If you want to see more Factorio, be sure to subscribe. Next time we'll go to Folgora and we'll do that giant scrap processing system I talked about with trains. So yeah, look forward to that. I do hope the headphones are okay. They're wireless, which is very helpful for me. And the sound quality coming out of the headphones is very nice. I do believe that maybe there's a bit of a compromise there on the microphone quality, but please let me know. Please let me know if it's absolutely unbearable. But I don't think so. I think it's fine. I think it's just different. I think we'll get used to it, you know? One of these days, we'll get used to it. Alright, take it easy. See you next time. Bye-bye.